to the game. So yeah, last time Stephen had just killed someone. It seems to be my memory. Stephen accidentally killed a guy who he was, because he was stealing supplies or stealing something. I have some fluff on me. Oh yeah, here we are. Yeah, so we had just been in there. Stephen had just killed someone by accident, and they're all like, "Get away from me! Get away!" Which, you know, understandable, really. So I guess we just carry on. Or maybe this house will reveal something. Oh yeah, and we found Stephen's house, didn't we? Or a house he bought for him and Kate. Despite having never spoken to Kate about it. There's a telephone, okay. Can't be this simple, surely. Oh no, we are going to be able to go straight in.
Station Master's house, Howard Lantham speaking. Howard, it's Clive. Clive Smith. I need you to listen to me and not ask questions or interrupt. Can you do that?
Hello, Stephanie. Thank you for jumping in. And thank you for the like, as always.
Quarantine around the valley. We've got an influenza outbreak in the village. We're suspending rail services, and we're also going to be shutting down the roads for a bit. You're going to be dealing with some anxious people, Howard, so you need to explain it's all under control, and we'll be back to normal in a few days. All right? Open up the emergency store. There's posters and boards along with a bunch of stuff that hasn't been used since the war. Grab anything you think might be useful. I need you to close up any unoccupied buildings, put posters up, that sort of thing. Make sure everything is all squared away and shipshape. You are a military man, I'm sure you understand that. Everyone doing their bit, following their orders. All right? All right? I think. Good man. I knew we could count on you. Ah, Jesus, Maze. What the hell was that?
And I think that was Howard getting... So this is Howard's house, I think. So that was Howard being converted. Not converted, infected. That's the word I'm thinking of. Nothing here. Bathroom again. Bloody tissues, yeah. So I think this is Howard's house, and I think he got infected. This is because he got infected, didn't he? And then he ended up disappearing. Oh, model railway man. Oh, it works. You can play with it. Yeah, Howard was the one that accidentally broke the Jeremy, the vicar's neck, wasn't it? Or not neck, leg, sorry, or ankle. Broke his ankle, didn't he? Pushed him down the stairs because he got like, angry about what was going on. Here's his conductor's uniform. Not anything in the garden, is there? No. Alright then, moving onwards. Choo-choo train. Oh. Oh, I can hear a radio. Right ahead of me. So this is the end of the quarantine. This is where they blocked it all.
Repeating over and over to myself in the dark. Eating cold food from a can with my fingers. My name is Catherine Collins. I am Catherine Collins. As if I can force the world to acknowledge my existence. Time has ceased to exist in any real terms. I'm reduced to marking out the days on the walls. Like a cave woman.
Oh, hello. Where are you trying to take me? Because I've already been here. Where are you you trying to take me? We've already been down here. Something I've missed? Again, you showed up there to take me all the way back. What the heck? So we've been through there. We've been through all the way through here. So where are you trying to take me now? This is where I'll meet it at the other end. And it will then try and take me all the way back up. Won't it? Oh, he's over there in the back. I see him. Because we went through that as well. It's like down there. Okay. Interesting. I guess we can access those tracks any time, really, so we don't have to. It's not like going along those tracks. I mean, we could have probably gone back around those tracks. There it is. Because I've already got this radio.
Pressure in my eyes again.
Yeah.
I can't move my legs, can't feel my face.
Unless there's something else here. Yeah, music got really ominous, which is why I'm wondering if there's anything else here, because... feels like there should be something else here because that's where it led me. However, and the sky got hazy and all of that, so it feels like this is the right direction. Particularly when we're like over here. Can we get into here? Oh, there he is. There's our friend. Down that way. Okay. On the muddy path. Let's go then. I was just checking then if those were flowers or whether there are these like light particles like this.
Come here, this was a mistake.
What do you want me to say? You knew what you were getting into.
Really?
Well, I'm sorry we don't measure up to your exacting standards, Dr. Collins. Maybe you just need to give us ordinary humans a break.
What? Ordinary humans like Lizzie Graves?
Oh.
Did you really think that I wouldn't find out? Frank told me, or did you forget there's one person in this shithole who actually talks to me?
Kate, it was just a drink.
Don't bother, Stephen!
Oh, for Christ's sake. Kate, slow down.
You were engaged to her, Stephen. You nearly married her.
Oh, come on, it was just a drink.
Then why the hell did you lie to me about it?
Because I knew you'd be mad and then it would end up in a row. You wanted to focus on the event tonight.
Oh, so you were actually doing me a favor. Wow, I guess I just forgot to say thank you. Do not treat me like I'm an idiot.
You're overreacting. I know you're stressed.
Just don't.
Yeah, that was... I always said when they were going for just a drink.
I'm not gonna let you ruin this for me.
Kate. Kate, come on, this is crazy.
Yeah, Steven's a little bit of a douche. Little bit. Kind of. And I always said going for a drink with your ex, after it's been a while since you've seen them and they were like engaged and stuff, I'm just a bit like, no. Doesn't feel like the good thing to do to me. Just feels like it's going to end up as a problem. And like everyone always goes, oh, but she doesn't have to know, he doesn't have to know. And I'm like, they will find out though, because they always flip and do. Telephone. Ah, on the wall.
It's all over the valley. Don't you get that? This isn't some abstract thing. Whatever came down into the tower has got out. They've quarantined the whole valley.
It's right here in the observatory.
It's out in the world. It's adapting and spreading. Do you understand?
No, we can't turn it away. It's come too far.
Okay, people are disappearing. Shut it down now.
No. If you won't help me, I'll do it on my own. I'm gonna route all the power back through Tower 6.
Kate!
Wait. It's trying to break through again.
Kate! Wait!
See, I'm not totally sure, like, what's going on. In the sense of, like, Steve... Like, is she doing this because Steven's been a douche? And because he's been a horrible, horrible husband, she's then, like, reacting, going, like, I need someone. I'm desperate for someone to... I'm desperate for someone to love or to help me or whatever. And so that's why she's identifying with it. Or is she also not a good person? And being someone that, like, is desperate for, yeah, being someone that's, like, just so desperate for her own accomplishment and scientific breakthrough that she ends up, you know, making a huge mistake and sacrificing everyone else for her own means. Well, I think but I think the reason that's happened is, like, so Steffi, I do agree with you. I think she has been taken over by it, but I think the reason, but even before she's been taken over by it and scarred by it, I think there's an element where she's sympathised with it, so we can see it now, the power. You know, I feel like there's an element where she is empathising with it or sympathising with it, and so she is kind of like allowed it to happen. And so I was wondering whether her motivation for that was just pure scientific breakthrough, whether the fact it's because Steven's been a douche and so she's felt lonely and alone and all those sort of things, and so she's like, this is the only thing that understands me. Yeah, exactly. So because she sympathised and empathised with it, she was able to become a conduit for it. Whereas everything else has been fighting it, and so they've all died or evaporated, whereas she clearly is kind of like working with it and trying to help it further. But I think that would have only happened because she agreed to help. Or she empathised with it.
When I was a kid, my dad found a fox. It had been hit by a car and couldn't walk anymore. My mum went spare, of course. Made him keep it in the shed. He was already slipping away from us then. He spent hours with that fox, telling it all about Italy and the villages they bombed there. I was jealous, I think. That the fox got more of my dad than I did. But it was dying, that was clear. So one day, I snuck out, took it a sandwich for food. I was only 8. When it bit me, I remember the anger, the shock, the hurt. Running in, screaming from the garden, my mum panicking about rabies. My dad beat it to death with a spade. Later I found him crying. "It done it, Ken, son." That's what he said. "It done it, Ken, it was hurting you. That's just a poor, dumb, dying animal. It doesn't know it's hurting us. Christ help us, it's left the valley. It's everywhere now. It's been 3 hours since the planes went over. I haven't been able to reach anyone on the shortwave. I'm beginning to think I may have made a terrible miscalculation."
No. No. Single chair on a room with With a hanging bar. I know what that means. And I don't like it. I think you might be a bit premature, Steffi, in saying he survived.
What are you? You understand me, don't you? Well, there's no one left. Just me. You know what this is? What I'm gonna do? You want light? Fine. I'll give you light. After me, there's no one. You'll be all alone again. Forever. Like before. You've taken everyone I've ever loved from me. You've made me do things I never even thought I was capable of. But if you think I'm coming with you... Kate? Wait. Stop. Kate.
That's a painful way to go. Yeah, cans of petrol. Obviously, he's right next to the petrol station. That's a very painful way to go.
This is Catherine Collins.
Ooh.
I don't know if anyone will ever hear this. It's all over. I'm the only one left.
Oh, Kate's story. I did wonder if we'd have Kate's half of the story. Because normally, obviously, I was wondering from there, like, where do they walk us out? So clearly they didn't walk us out because they couldn't walk us out. Because if they did walk us out, they'd be, we'd just be wandering through because this is Stephen's bunker. Interesting. So I'm seeing like trails.
On the plane, Stephen leaned across me and pointed out of the window. Down there, he said. That's home. But all I saw were patches of color. I don't think until this moment that I understood that one could contain the other so completely.
Well, okay then. But yeah, like, look, we've got a proper guidance system now. Probably because we're like one with the light, so it's like properly leading us in a direction. Look at all this, the scribbles on the ground. Telescopes.
I know it didn't mean to hurt any of them.
Tower 3.
I try and explain why Lizzie tried to leave with her child and why it was wrong to stop her. I try and explain that much of what it did was wrong. It shows me Stephen and Lizzie together. And I'm happy for them. Frank walks his fields with Mary. Wendy and Edward nest together in the orchards of their love. Jeremy lies at peace with his God at last. All of them are happy because they are together. I understand it better now. It is a collector of time. No butterflies.
Okay then. I think you may have gone a bit mad there, Kate. So what it's saying, basically it's harming everyone that's ever hurt Kate. So he's like, she's tried to explain to it why it was wrong to stop Lizzie, and despite the fact, but Lizzie and Stephen obviously, like, she's happy for them, but the thing's going, hang on, no, they betrayed you, like, and nobody on this village likes you. Because we know, like, Frank didn't die of the virus, he got gassed. Well, a lot of people got gassed, but yeah. So, there's clearly something going on. What are these? So yeah, something strange.
I watched a butterfly dancing in a strip of sunlight. All of its life contained in a single day. The blink of an eye between the ebb of the darkening tide. Lying there with the pattern curled around me, I saw the inevitability. The necessity of presence born from absence. The constant unfolding.
Oh, interesting. Those wires. Well, okay then. I guess we keep heading up. But yeah, this is what I mean. She's empathized with it and like trying to reason with it, like it's human, like it has the same feelings we do, and it might do, but it's clearly hurting people. And so I'm not sure I can necessarily say Kate's in the right, because though she's like, I'm trying to help, it's like, it's that constant argument. If aliens came and started hurting people, would you argue that they're just misunderstood? Would you argue that they didn't know any better and we need to help them learn? That's not okay. Or would you go, no, they're a threat and they need to be destroyed? And it's a really hard balance, because I sit there go, I was just about to go, no, we need to like get rid of them, but I'm like, actually, everyone deserves a chance, I suppose, don't they? But
I watched the pattern lean in and time slow to almost nothing. I saw the flame leap from Stephen's hand and the moment hang in the air forever. I watched his face, and in the last second, I almost believe he saw me. He wasn't frightened or angry. I remember his expression, just like I remember it from the first time, early that morning when he woke and, still half sleeping, said, God, I love you. And I loved him as he entered the fire. And I let him go, knowing I wasn't ready to join him. We have held time to ourselves here in this place. Held the light to the ground because we were afraid of the coming dark. But now we understand that to cling to the light is not living. I've spent my life watching the illumination from a million dead stars reaching for me without grasping this meaning. The light we cast transcends our death. The pattern made by our living creates a bridge across the dark.
oh, that's all very hippy-dippy for me. So, and again, she mentioned it in one of the earlier ones. Again, it's just that, I guess, that idea of going, well, it's actually, as much as for us we're all panicking, going, death, death, oh, we're all going to die, this thing's killing us, that's an inevitability, and that's scary, which it is, death is scary, just is. But I guess there's then the idea that, but what if it's bringing us all together into one place, Yeah, if it's bringing us together, so although we might die, we might all be united again, in like a heaven-like scenario, and we're all together, and therefore where there's no pain or suffering in death, I suppose, maybe.
It reaches out from the shadow of the tower, across the observatory, over the valley, and consumes the world. Everything is light now. Everything has come to rest. The world is scored by the traces we carved into it. Our presence is everywhere, the bridge joining our stories. This world existed before we came to it, and it will continue without us. In the empty fields and houses, our traces radiate, and others will come to dance in the light we cast.
Nice
we can
lens
slip away
flare.
gently, unafraid, knowing that everything will continue.
Nice lens flare effect there. I mean, if you're doing a game where light is like the villain, as it were, I suppose you've got to have some good lighting effects, haven't you? Imagine if what this game would have been like with ray tracing. Flip. I do love this choral music. It's great. It's like soothing and yet like triumphant and yet also eerie, slightly terrifying. So this is Tower 6. So we've been to all the towers now, I think. Yeah, Tower 6. So clearly the main tower. Yeah, I don't know if it has got the whole world. But it looks like it's aiming to have the whole world. Here we are. Biggest one.
The end is coming now. I'm not afraid. We have each other. We lived apart from them. We understand now our failure to touch, to belong. But it doesn't matter anymore. Everybody is gone, and we will join them. We are born apart, driftwood on the banks of an endless dark ocean, and we will be carried away by the swell soon enough. But in between, in the single day of living, that dancing in a strip of sunlight, we can find what we miss. The love that makes us whole. The imminence. Everybody found their other. This pattern is mine.
There we go. Her equal and other half, because Stephen definitely wasn't that. You're saying that actually this event, I suppose this event did bring people together, didn't it? Because you think you had like Lizzie and Stephen found each other, and I forget those kids, Reese and Megan, I think it was. But flipping heck, what a game. What a story. That was a flipping brilliant story. Really, really clever way of telling it. Like, so unique in the way they told that story. And yeah, just a very interesting approach, because it's kind of a mixture of like disaster horror movies about like pandemics, but also and like Armageddon movies, but also then mixed with aliens and stuff. It's just a very clever, a very, very clever way of telling a new story. Now, I know this game's a little bit old at this point, so it's not new, but it's quite It's a new and fresh way of doing it, which is fascinating. Here are the voices. Who are our main guys? Oh, they're all on the other. I was reading the wrong around. I was getting confused then. Orchestra and Metro Voices Choir conducted by James Morgan. London Voices Choir conducted by Ben Parry. London Orchestra. Featured vocalist Elin Manahan Thomas. London Voices Choir, the Metro Voices Choir. Lovely. Good choice. The music was a brilliant choice. It's kind of that classic English choral style to go with it, but very, very good. I will say the music really emphasised this game. The moments of silence versus when the music kicked in, it really like emphasised key moments when things were either going right or going wrong. And it was just the right kind of style for this game, this slow-paced countryside-looking game with an old church and all of that. Because then it as well, because you started off as Jeremy the Vicar, it meant the music felt like it belonged, because it was like, oh, well, he's a church vicar, so of course it's like church choral choirs and all of that sort of stuff, so it's quite good. And then you just kind of accepted it and it went through. So clearly, I think these guys must have come out of a university, out of University of Portsmouth, and created a prototype of this game and then decided, actually, there's something here. We want to flesh it out and create the game, which is brilliant. And I love how fast these ones go, because these are like the external development team from Sony that obviously helped turn it into like a main game. So these are going way, way faster. But yeah, really interesting, and a really interesting story. It was nice because it felt like real people stories, because we had like the drama of, you know, brother and sisters not talking to each other, the church vicar talking to the old biddies, and the old church gossips and dealing with that. You had affairs left, right and centre. You had teenage love, you had babies, you had and then obviously people disappearing, getting sick, and the story of how communities come together and panic together and die together, which is really clever. Just a really nice human level story. Now obviously it's about aliens, and Kate's story particularly is very existential, and it's very much about the aliens and her sympathising with it, and that's kind of the underlying story, which is obviously, I do believe it's brought about because Stephen was such a douche, and because she never felt like she belonged or had a significant other that matched her really, is what drew her to this thing, which felt like it was, as she said, my other. And so it just goes to show actually how our actions are really important, and how we treat people is really important, because, you know, if we don't, they will set an alien loose that will kill us all. I wish there was a way I could skip this, because I don't know if there's anything after the credits or not. I've pressed all the buttons, and nothing is skipping. But yeah, this is all like licensing and stuff, isn't it? So this is the last kind of... the people at the end of the run, public relations, there you go, marketing. Yeah, consumer insights. Yeah, we hopefully are getting to the end of the credits now, because this will be all the last bits, the things that basically were like, this was the last step where we made the game, and then we had to like test it and tweak it based on whatever these people said. And the event specialists obviously doing the special events. So I wonder, because they have like video editors and things, I wonder who, obviously I think this is for like the special events and stuff, so when they get like trailers and things, that's why they've got like video editors and stuff. Because Because there was no cutscenes in this for us to really need like video editors for. It was all programmed in game. MC community management. Come on, we must be getting close to the end now. Come on. I would normally just talk over credits and sort of talk about my thoughts of the game, but I kind of summarised them all up. We talked a lot about them. The only thing that annoyed me was sometimes... No, they didn't have to do good people graphics, Steffi. You're absolutely right. Which is probably very smart, because again, it's a smart way of storytelling and getting around your own technical limitations. So rather than it having to rely really heavily on like making the people look real for an indie title, it's like, actually no, we're telling it through like these little light dots, so as long as they vaguely resemble people, we're okay, which I think is clever. So I think that was a really, really clever way of doing that. I think my only criticism of the game was that there was no way to go any faster. I think the walking was just a little bit too slow, because there were times where you're like, particularly when you had to backtrack, so like with Frank, we had to backtrack in order to get the thing that we were after, and by backtracking, it took so long to get to where we were going, and then have to go all the way back to where we were. So, it was a little bit annoying to have to deal with that. But other than that, like, and again, really simple, so all you did was walk and press the X button to interact with things. Oh, and I wish the light thing had been a little bit clearer. Because the problem is it kept moving, and so it would run away, and if you missed it, you were like, well, I guess I'm wandering on my own then. I guess I'm just trying to figure it out. Because if it like went around a corner and you couldn't see it, that was it. So I think like it probably could have been better in the sense of it just... You know, just maybe like either it floats ahead of... Again, it was too fast for your walking speed. So it felt like either it needed to be slower or we needed to be faster. I think ideally we should have been faster. But in the sense of we could keep up with it, and it wasn't zooming around to take us to the next thing. It was guiding us through the story, if that's the way they wanted it to go. Otherwise, let it be open world and you either complete the game or you don't. So yeah, Stephanie, I do agree. It probably was a deliberate choice for it to be slow, because you have to take things in and reflect on the slow village life and all that thing. So I understand that, but therefore I especially think that the light ball should have been so much slower. I love that they had to get permission from Rubik's Cube. What's that? What's that code? What is that code? End number expert. I'm just looking it up because I'm like, what on earth was that? I don't think it's DLC because this game is old. There we are. And that's it. So, with a bit of letter sort, apparently it's like A equals 1, B equals 2, all that sort of thing. So if you translate it, apparently the code is in the wake of a human being's death, what survives is a set of afterglows, some brighter, some dimmer. In the collective brains of those dearest to them, there is, in those who remain, a collective corona that still glows. To collective coroner that still glows. Douglas Hofstadter. Then he was a cognitive scientist, apparently. And it comes from his book, I Am a Strange Loop. And even this particular blogger said maybe the biggest conspiracy of this game was where the secret sprint button was.